It's HPR1, and I'm Dave Lawrence. Terrance Simien back in the islands. Louisiana performer has brought a bit of Mardi Gras with him too. Saturday show, Honoka'a People's Theater, and we're lucky enough to have him on the line joining us now. Thank you again for taking some time.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are quite welcome.
You are definitely in paradise, my friend. Trust me, I've been everywhere.
You say you've been all over the world, and one of the reasons is really because you're an ambassador. There's something to that goes real deep in your life.
My family's been in Louisiana since the mid-1700s. My last name is Simien. We were one of the first Creole families to settle there. It's a melting pot, a place where a lot of people, a lot of ideas came together and started something new, like the whole Creole thing. I'm part French, African, Spanish, Native American, and German. Most of the people that been in Louisiana as long as my family have that same kind of mix. And the music, Zydeco, is influenced by all these different cultures.
Often you hear about New Orleans. As for the rest of the state?
Well, you know, New Orleans got its own thing. And then you got where I'm from, the southern part of the state, from Opelousas, Lafayette, and Lake Charles, and you have a whole other thing happening there. The Louisiana Territory was the French frontier. In my part of the world, the French culture is still a big thing. You still speak French. My parents' first language was French, whereas people in New Orleans, they'd have to go back a couple of generations to find where their French come from. Me, in our area, is that close. It just kind of changes things a little bit. And the food, we got our own way of cooking, and our music. If you was a musician in New Orleans, you picked up a brass instrument, a trumpet, a saxophone, or a trombone. But if you was a musician in the area I come from, the swamps and the prairies, you picked up an accordion or a violin or a rubber or a triangle. But just because you picked up those instruments don't mean you didn't put no soul into it.
Right.
You know, that kind of African influence. That's what Zydeco is. But you know what the main ingredient to the Creole mix is? French and African. Those two cultures. People don't realize, man, in your blood, there's tones to the DNA, brother, you know? Generations of inspiration that instinctively come out. People will connect with this music and they'll ask me why. Because you feeling something. Is given from the higher power. It's one of those things that, you know, you have to respect, that music is a medicine.
I don't discount that one bit.
Man, it's the spirit world, you know.
There you are.
The supernatural world is connected. Supernatural stuff comes through music, you know, and it's like we have a natural world and supernatural world, and music is one of those things we able to do that can, you know, pull colors and sounds and visions from the supernatural world and help you connect. That's when you're really feeling that emotion, and I can't explain that, but I've seen so many things happen throughout the years where people have come to me and just told me some of the amazing healings that they've gotten from just listening to music and letting themselves go, losing themselves in the groove of the music, and you cry, you laugh, and after the song is over with, you feel so much better.
You identified a whole separate powerful thing, losing yourself in the rhythm where you are moving your body basically over and over, which now your blood is circulating, so that's like a whole nother therapeutic sort of element.
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right. You described it perfectly. And you have to come with an open mind and just ride the wave.
I think it's patience is what you're talking about at the root.
So
right.
Patience, and be open-minded and be ready.
And that gift of patience has really led to some unique collaborations in your life. I'm going to just name a couple here. Robert Palmer, Stevie Wonder, Los Lobos, Taj Mahal, the great Dr. John, the Fabulous Meters, Alan Toussaint, Paul Simon, Dave Matthews.
You know, being anywhere near cats like that, for me, one thing I always got out of that, and the only way to explain it to was a gift from God. Like the Great Spirit was telling me, you on the right track.
I'll pick one of those guys out then, because he has been challenged in a way that me and you, thank God, have not, and that's Stevie Wonder. I couldn't imagine going through what that man has had to go through. If you can just share any stories of being with him.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm glad you picked him because I met him at a point when I was really in doubt about a lot of things. I had lost a few key members in my band, and I had the pressure of raising a family, and we did a show. It was one of Bill Clinton's inaugural balls at its second inauguration. REO Speedwagon came on. Then we all lined up. The president came by and the first lady. We shook their hands on stage, and it was at the Air and Space Museum at the Smithsonian. So they set up a stage right underneath Charles Lindbergh's plane. My band with REO Speedwagon's band on stage, meeting the president, hearing his speech. Then we played after that, and then all of a sudden a spotlight was shining in the audience, and I'm like, wow, what's that? And I look, and it was Stevie Wonder. And then one of his managers, or whatever you'd call him, that was around him, came up to the stage and made the gesture like Stevie wanted to come up and play with us on harmonica. Man, I almost fell to my feet and said, "Hail high chief." You know what I'm saying? I said, "Come on, man." So they rushed him up on stage, and he got on stage on one of our songs we were doing. And, man, just jammed for about a good 5 minutes, man, and took it. And then turned around and said, "Thank you." And I'm like, bruh. And I said it. I said, "Hail, high priest, I'm not worthy to receive you, brother." You know, I mean, it's like, wow, did this just happen?
And you're doing that for the audience of the President of the United States?
Yeah. I had one of the inaugural balls underneath Lindbergh's plane, man.
Man, and with REO Speedwagon, Kevin's a great guy from that band. People may think of them as just some pop band, but they've written some really inspirational songs.
They've written some great songs, and nice guys.
Very nice.
Humble. It's a beautiful experience all around, and it was like that was that one time, you know, you felt like the Great Spirit was just tapping you on your shoulder and saying, "Hey, man, don't worry. Just keep doing what you're doing, man, and it'll be all right."
I love it. Well, those are great words to leave it on. That does leave a lot to think about there, Terrance.
You know?
I really do appreciate you spending some time. You're just a really cool dude.
I'm right with you, my brother. We had a good flow and conversation going here. Thank you so much for the kind words, and it was an honor and a privilege to be with you today on All Things Considered, man. Keep on doing what you're doing, informing the people on what's happening.
I learned a lot.
Thank you, Dave. Aloha. Mahalo.
Be safe, Terrance.
Thank you, brother.